Primal Chaos.
Hey guys, Primal Chaos here. Welcome to the channel. So many of you who follow the channel will know that I very recently discovered Lolli Wren via her cover of Hurt by 9 Inch Nails, which again has been reinterpreted a couple of different times and things like that. And I was so enamored by her take on that song that, I really didn't know what to expect, but boy, her choices, her beautiful voice, her ability to take a very well-known source material and put it through her prism and come up with something truly unique is the very definition of what makes a great cover. And so obviously that piqued my interest. And as a general rule, as a reactor, I tend not to look at other reaction channels just so that it prevents me from being like my reactions being colored or, by cherry picking, even subconsciously, choices other people make in the scene. And I like my stuff to be pretty different and unique, and I try to keep my own spin on things for better or for worse. But in the case of Lolli, I was so taken by her cover that I thought, you know what, I should really check out a bunch of her reactions. And what I discovered was just this amazing way that she has of connecting to people in a very lyrical and poetic way, but still have like this well of information that she bestows upon you throughout the reaction that's so palatable. It's so easy to absorb, even for a layperson who doesn't maybe know much about music or music production or composition, things like that. And I think that's why she has such a great following and such a passionate following, is because she has this ability to engage with you on a very personal level, but to teach you something along the way. So it's not just vapid, right? There's so much depth to what she does. And so, that's really exciting to discover. And to be honest with you, having had, very few interactions with her behind the scenes, I can tell every one of you watching, she's exactly the person that you think she is behind the scenes as well. She's quite lovely. But, it would be really remiss of me to find out that she has an original piece dropping and not want to take a crack at it, because that's where we really find out who these people are, right? It's one thing to be able to take someone's material and put it through your prism, create your version of something. When you have a good foundation of a great song already, to then turn that into something else, it's not as difficult to make something great if you start with great source material, right? But to hear an original piece is a completely different ballgame, because then you get to see when they're taking all of their influence from the ether and molding that into something that is purely them and purely unique and very personal. And so I'm really excited to check this out. I actually told Lolli I was going to be doing it. So I'm going to dive right in. I'm really excited to check this out. It's been out for a few days and I've been sort of biding my time, waiting for an opportunity. And here we are. So I Can't Decide by Lolli Wren. Let's have a look. Ah, cutie. That's wow.
I am the queen inside my room. I am the face of someone's doom. If you think you've seen me before, that's probably true.
That was cheeky.
You are addicted to the taste. Salt from a tear sting hot with range. If this is all there is to love, what else can I do? Catch you till I let you go. Never knowing how I lose my grip, but I can assure you it won't be long. Eeny, meeny, miny, moe. Got you by so much more than your toe. Never say I never warned you. In either eye, I see so different when you arrive and when you go. I can't decide which side I side with. Follow my heart to the depth. What if this is just a test?
That's cool.
What if I am cruelly mistaken? Could I live with all the regret, I guess? Yeah. Even if I close the door, it's already set to swing open as a refer every time I swipe left. Yeah. I'm too ashamed of myself to care what you think of me. Fair flaws, each one of my veins, I'm
Wow. Okay. Wow. All right. I had every plan to stop and start throughout that and sort of, work my way through it, but I just couldn't hit stop. That was so great. So many things are buzzing around in my head right now that I want to talk about. I'm going to go back through the song now and just and break down some of the things I noticed because, God, I hope I remember all of them because it was just like everything in my head was just going off. I was just hearing great lyrical things and I was seeing really interesting sort of interpretive things in the music video and stuff as well. The rhythmic things in the instrumental are so brilliant. Even just some of the influence in the backing track as well that I want to talk about. But boy, oh boy, let's start again. Whew. No, like I said, normally I don't sit through a whole thing, but here we are. First of all, the rhythm on this bass is brilliant. It's kind of really swung,
I am the queen inside my room. I am the face of someone's doom. If you think you've seen me before, that's probably true.
It's got kind of this kind of like that sort of bass line. It sort of has this Pink Panther-esque kind of swagger to it, like it's a little bit, what's the word I'm looking for? It's intriguing, I guess. I don't think that's the word I'm looking for, but it is. And I love that when I first interpreted this, when we see there's the dichotomy of Lolli, right? You've got like this 1960s inspired pastel colored perfection here. And then we cut to, a more cheeky kind of, like a little bit more realistic, humanistic kind of interpretation of Lolli's character here. And originally I was wondering if that was something to do with her online persona and who she might be behind the scenes, right? There's real Lolli versus what we see as the fairy voice mother or something. But since then I've readjusted that interpretation, thinking about the lyrics a little bit more. It's more to do with, and correct me if I'm wrong, Lolli, maybe you can help me out in the comments. It's more to do with relationships, right? I think what the song is getting at, in my interpretation, is that there's two Lollis, right? Or as I'm not sure if this is autobiographical or what, but it seems like there's maybe, the character that she's portraying. Let's just put it that way, because I'm not sure if this is personal or not. I'm assuming it is, but who knows? So you've got this version that you see up front, and it's this optimistic, perfect Lolli. But then over time, the self-doubt and insecurities and all that comes in, and it sort of makes the relationships a bit more self-sabotagey. Right? I don't know whether it's a self-doubt thing or what, but I think that's kind of what it's getting at, is that the relationships don't last long because eventually this Lolli comes out and ruins everything by not being perfect, or, having like so much, maybe I don't want to use the term self-loathing but self-doubt and all that sort of stuff. The darkness in her character makes her feel like maybe, I don't know, maybe not worthy of love or something like that. I don't know. But then that always tends to cause friction, which ends relationships early, right? I'm going to see if I can bring up the lyrics here, because I want to be able to cast an eye over that. Look at that. You can always rely on the internet, right? The song's been out for like 2 days and the lyrics are already done. Who contributed? Let's see. There you go. Lolli put them up herself. Awesome. Thank you, Lolli. That makes it so much easier. All right. So, yeah, I'm the queen somewhere on the face of someone's doom. If you think you've seen me before, it's probably true. You're addicted to the taste. Salt from our tears sting hot with rage. What else can I do? Catch you till I let you... See, here's what I was talking about. Catch you till I let you go, right? Never know when I will lose my grip, but I can assure you it won't be long. That's kind of the vibe I was picking up from the lyrics of, like, from the outset. I feel like what she's portraying here is that the relationship is doomed from the beginning, right? And I think that ties into never say I never warned you, right? You chose to get into this with me, and this is what's happening, right? What if this is a test? What if I'm cruelly mistaken? Could I live with that regret? I guess, you know. It's like I think what this culminates in is, and again, like this is the first listening and I'm gleaning this off the lyrics, but I feel like it's the song is less about relationships and more about this overarching kind of lamentation that this is what she's doomed to be every time, right? I'm too ashamed of myself to care what you think of me. Fear floods each one of my veins. I'm high on insecurity. And that's what I was getting at with, you know, taking it back to the beginning of like, filter my feelings, filter my face, trap my trust, fuel my lust, oh, validate. Me and my demons tear at my faith. You know, it's like, I'm so wrapped up in my own self-doubt. I'm too ashamed of myself to care what you think of me. Yeah. Wow. Okay. So it's such a sweetheart song through the verses that, you know, it's hard to sort of draw so much darkness and drama out of it. But if you actually pay attention to the lyrics, it's all there, you know? Wow.
Before, that's probably true.
I believe that smile has been described historically as butter wouldn't melt in her mouth.
True. You are addicted to the taste. Salt from my tears sting hot with rage.
It's cool. It's kind of got there's a Fiona Apple kind of grunginess to it. Oh, that lick. Wow.
Catch you till I let you go.
See, then we go into this sort of really sweet, I guess it's like a 6/8, right? It doesn't quite feel like a waltz, but the piano is just so delicate and beautiful, and it's got kind of like this.
Now I lose my grip, but I can assure you it won't be long.
And that bass. Oh.
Got you by so much more than your toe never.
Is that a stand-up bass? It's hard to tell these days what's real and what's not, but it sounds like an actual physical stand-up bass.
And your toe never say I never warned you.
See, now that's the other thing I want to talk about. So there's that little flamenco hit there, right? And also the rhythmic sort of concepts as well have like a exotic, I guess almost Spanish kind of a flavor. I did notice actually, are the lyrics still up? Yeah, Eduardo Morieta. So yeah, there's definitely some Latin flavor here. And also, I'm not sure if people know where Lolli lives, but that kind of would make sense if you know.
Never say I never warned.
See, there's so much like a.
It won't be long.
Hang on. So, is that 6/8? Here we go.
Now I know it, now I lose my grip, but I can assure you it won't be long. Eeny, meeny, miny, moe. Got you by so much more than your toe. Never say I never warned you. Neither I see so different.
There's just so much like potential there for like.
Never say I never warned you. I see so different.
There's a really flamenco sort of flavor there,
You go
but without it sounding overly flamenco.
which side I side with. Follow my heart
Yeah.
to the depth.
There's nylon stringing there, I think.
What if this is just a test? What if I am
There's
good at
backings though, man. Wow.
thinking? Could I live without the regret, I guess? Even if I close the door, it's already set to swing open as a river every time I swipe left. I'm too ashamed of myself to care what you think of me.
So there's a backing in there. See, because the cool thing about this bridge is this is where it gets unhinged, right? She's got that kind of a little bit of like I guess like a Kate Bush sort of like a waver in her. She's pulling up to these higher notes. It's not high, but she's sort of like singing in a slightly different technique here, but there's an underlying low octave to what she's singing, and I think it's artificial. I think it's been done with an octave effect. I don't think it's a voice.
Ashamed of myself to care what you think of me.
It could be, maybe she's singing really low. It could be a male voice as well, but to me it sounds a little bit too close to the original. I think it's an octave effect. Correct me if I'm wrong again. But the cool thing about it is it sounds a little demonic, right? That's what they do in movies when they've got some kid who's possessed by a demon. They'll have them say something and then they'll take that and they'll pitch it down, and they'll maybe put like, even just pitch it to like maybe a minor second so that it sounds like, you know, like, so it sounds like demonic. It sounds like whispered voices and just darkness and everything. So let's go back into this middle eight.
I'm too ashamed of myself to care what
You think of me. It's like down there.
Each one of my veins, I'm high on it.
There's also a harmony in there as well, I think.
Filter my feelings, filter my face, trap my
And if you notice, this version here, it almost looks like she's in a cell, right? She's sitting on pallets. But if you look at this artwork in the back, they're kind of like these weird quasi Art Deco kind of prints in a cartoony. And it's like, it says no darling instead of oh darling. And they've crossed out hello gorgeous and it says hell, right? But then if you go back to the original room, they're the same designs, although backwards. That's interesting. So it's kind of like it gives you this vibe that this sort of unhinged Lolli right here is the same Lolli. It's just at a different point in time, right?
each one of my veins, I'm high on insecurity.
The legato nature of this and the way she's spitting out certain words, really the caricaturization of the concept through the lyrics and the melody is so good. And the transition there, that's really cool as well. Also notice her movement is so much more angular and aggressive, you know? Where's my egg shaker? I've got one here somewhere. She knows how to use those eyes, right? That's so cute. Yeah, okay, yeah, it is reversed. Yeah, so the bed in like, yeah, the rooms are backwards, yeah. That's cool. Man, so much attention to detail just in the production of the video. There was something else I wanted to point out too. It's funny, the earnestness of like the original Lolli, the 60s Lolli. I don't even know. I'm going to have to come up with naming distinctions for both of them, but it sort of reminds me more of something Aurora would do, right? But then it switches out to like this darker kind of, you know, something that's more akin to like Alanis or like I said, Fiona Apple or somebody that's got that sort of grungy energy, which is, it's really interesting to see like one singer be able to transmute themselves in the span of one song into 2 to 3 different characters, right?
I am cruelly mistaken. Could I live without the regret I get?
There was something else I wanted to check out with the...
Filter my face, trap my
Yeah, this...
trust, fuel my last, validate me and
So rather than having a hi-hat there, it's like stick noise, right? And it's in a way, I think that was a very deliberate choice because the way that the flow of the rhythms of this song move is super interesting. There's nothing about it that's canned. There's nothing straight out of the box. It's got interesting flows to it, interesting rhythmically. And I think that's a lot of that Latin flavor, to be honest. But if you listen to like what would normally be the hi-hats in this part, it's like a clicking sound, right? And it gives the impression of a clock ticking. And it's like that creates this sense of anxiety, right? And it feels like this is the passing of time. Time is running out, or at the final stages of what this is. And this is the point where everything goes unhinged and all falls apart. And that's like a metaphor for, I'd imagine that's a metaphor for what she's talking about as far as relationships running their course, you know, and I assure you it won't be long, right? Like if you hear, there's almost like a tick, 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 tick sort of vibe going on. It's a little bit more creative, but it's still there. Very cool. Very cool. So in summary, let's see, where do you begin? I think the most interesting thing about this to me, other than the fact that I'm really impressed, I think it's a fantastic song. I think it's beautiful. I think it just oozes creativity. I love all of Lolli's vocal choices. I love how she was very mature with what she added in as far as like doubling backing tracks, you know, backing vocals, that sort of thing, to let the song build really organically and stuff, which shows really good competency as far as composition and arrangement. And I mean, it says right there, like all vocals and vocal arrangement, Lolli Wren, right? So she came up with all of that, which I had no doubt about. The only thing I was questioning, I've seen her play bass. I was wondering if she was playing the bass on this, but I assume that was all, Eduardo, yeah. So what stands out to me is when you look at this, and again, I'm a noob when it comes to Lolli's work, right? But from the little I've seen, it feels like this is definitely an artist who understands who they are, because, you know, if I didn't know Hurt was written by someone else and I saw this and then I watched Hurt, I would think it was two songs by the same artist, right? And that's super interesting because it means that she has a real sense of self. It really means that she understands who she is, what her strengths are, and like who she wants to be as an artist, right? Because the flavor's all there. Whether or not, like, I mean, Hurt obviously doesn't have this sort of Latin flavor to it. And again, you might not hear that because it's really well hidden, right? It doesn't sound like Gypsy Kings or something like that. It sounds very much like a pop song, but in the same way that like the Spice Girls, right? They've got Spice Up Your Life, which has got like these Afro-Cuban rhythms going through it, but it just sounds like the Spice Girls doing a pop song, right? But if you know, you know, right? If you know what to listen for, you'll hear all of this extra influence there that some people, they won't know why they like it. They'll know that they can shake their butt to it, but they don't know why they like it. And it's because these are already really established concepts in music, right? But her ability and her vision to take, you know, I guess her and Eduardo working together have this ability to take something that is conceptually fairly broad and focus that into a vision that is truly Lolli's creative vision. That's how you get really interesting music, right? It's that fusion of taking different elements and figuring out how to put those Lego pieces together to create a Millennium Falcon. That could be the worst analogy of all time, but you get my drift, right? And so, yeah, it was brilliant. It really is good. It's, as a debut for an original piece, this is off the charts good. Makes me nervous about releasing anything. No, this was all really exciting. I've waffled on as usual. I've talked way too long about this, but congratulations, Lolli. This was fantastic. It was really exciting to share a debut with you like this, and all the best for the future. And everybody, the best way you can support Lolli is just listen to the track, share the track, do everything you can to boost her on socials. If you like this song, it's the absolute least you can do. Nowadays with streaming and music streaming and stuff like that, artists really don't get paid. At least nowhere near as much as they should, by orders of magnitude, I should say. So if you truly are a fan and if you do truly love what she does, the best way to support her is to make sure that everybody sees this. So yeah. Anyway, thanks again, guys. If you feel like I brightened your day at all, just buy me a coffee. I'll leave a link in the description. Otherwise, just like, share, follow, subscribe. Definitely support Lolli. She's definitely a brilliant artist, and I can't wait to hear more from what she has to say. And yeah, thanks again. Stay primal. I'll catch you on the next one.